The ballroom shimmered. Crystal lights. Soft music. And conversations worth millions. At the center of it all stood her. Elena Carter. Billionaire. CEO. A woman no one said no to. And yet, tonight, her attention wasn't on investors. It was on one man. Daniel Hayes. A single father. Standing near the edge of the room. In a simple suit. Holding a small plate he hadn't touched. Because he never quite belonged in places like this. And yet, he had been invited. By her. Across the room. Eyes followed her as she walked toward him. Whispers began instantly. She's going to talk to him again. Why him? No idea. But curiosity spread fast. Because Elena Carter didn't waste time. And she definitely didn't repeat interest. She stopped in front of him. Daniel, she said calmly. He looked up. Same steady eyes. No nervousness. No board meeting tonight, he asked lightly. A faint smile touched her lips. Cancelled. A pause. You're more important. That alone turned heads. Daniel raised an eyebrow slightly. Dangerous sentence, he said. She didn't laugh. Because she wasn't joking. Walk with me, she said. They moved away from the crowd. Toward the balcony. Cool air. City lights below. Silence. But not empty. For a moment. Neither spoke. Then. You don't like events like this, she said. Daniel exhaled softly. I like honest rooms, he replied. She nodded. Fair. A pause. Then. Something shifted. Something serious. I've made decisions worth billions, she said slowly. But this. She looked at him. Directly. This might be the most important one. Daniel didn't interrupt. Because he could feel it. Whatever she was about to say would change everything. Inside. People began to notice the silence. The focus. The way the air itself seemed to pause. And then. She said it. Clear. Calm. Unshaken. Will you marry me? The world. Stopped. Inside the ballroom. Conversations froze. Glasses paused mid-air. Eyes widened. Because they heard it. Everyone did. A billionaire CEO. Proposing. To a single dad. Daniel didn't react immediately. Didn't smile. Didn't speak. Because this wasn't a joke. This was real. Elena, he said quietly. You don't make small decisions. She held his gaze. I don't, she replied. A pause. And I'm not now. He looked away for a second. Toward the city. Thinking. Not about money. Not about power. About something else. Then. He said softly. You're asking the wrong person. Confusion rippled through the crowd. She frowned slightly. What do you mean? Daniel turned. And looked toward the entrance. Where a small figure stood. Holding a juice box. Watching everything. His daughter. Ask her, he said calmly. All eyes shifted. Because suddenly. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about her. The little girl walked forward slowly. Tiny steps in a room full of power. Elena knelt down to her level. For the first time that night. Uncertain. Hi, she said softly. The girl looked at her. Quiet. Observant. You want to marry my dad, she asked. A few people almost gasped. Elena nodded gently. Yes. The girl tilted her head slightly. Thinking. Really thinking. Then she asked one simple question. Will you still hold his hand when he's sad? Silence. Deep. Unexpected. Because no one in that room had thought about that. Not the money. Not the status. Just that. Elena didn't hesitate. Yes, she said. Another pause. Will you still sit with us when we eat noodles at home? The girl added. A faint smile appeared on Daniel's face. Elena smiled too. This time softer. Of course. The girl studied her one last time. Then. She took a step back. Looked at her dad. And said. Okay. The room didn't breathe. Okay. Elena repeated quietly. The girl nodded. You can marry him. And just like that. The most powerful decision in the room was made. By the smallest voice. Daniel exhaled slowly. A quiet smile forming. Elena stood up. Eyes still on the child. And for the first time. The billionaire CEO. Looked, humbled. Because she didn't win that moment. She was allowed into it. And that meant everything. The ballroom didn't return to normal. Not right away. Because something rare had just happened. Not a business deal. Not a power move. Something real. Elena stood still for a moment. Looking at Daniel. Then at his daughter. As if making sure. This wasn't a moment she imagined. Okay, she said softly. Not to the crowd. To them. Daniel let out a quiet breath. You're sure? He asked. Not testing her. Protecting something. Elena nodded. I've never been more sure of anything, she replied. A pause. But I don't expect an answer tonight. That surprised him. Because she was a woman. Used to immediate decisions. Immediate control. But not here. Good, Daniel said. Because this isn't about tonight. Their eyes met. And for the first time. They were standing on equal ground. The little girl walked between them. Holding both their hands. Naturally. Like she had already decided. What the future looked like. Are we going home? She asked. Daniel smiled. Yeah, he said. Let's go home. Elena hesitated. Just slightly. Can I come? She asked. Again. No power in her voice. Just a question. The girl looked up at her dad. Daniel nodded once. Only if you're okay with simple food, he said. Elena smiled softly. I'm okay with real, she replied. And just like that. They left. No announcement. No dramatic ending.